guys, and welcome. I am the Seven Swords, and we are back in Factorio. So in the last episode, we built this, and then in between episodes, because I forgot I wasn't recording, um, we got this done. So basically, what this does is it takes fluid from what we are melting down of the extra resources, and turns it into flux fuel or flux fluid. Then that goes into here, and he's using the catalyst to become Coriolis fluid. The top one here is being dedicated to not only making Coriolis fluid that we can request for the rest of the base, but also it's going into making prismatic shards. These prismatic shards are then being divided between half of them going down into here to keep us stocked up on prismatic shards, and the other one's going up to here just to keep us stocked on prismatic plates. We obviously don't need very many of these right now, but that's because we're not doing much with it. We're going to be changing that today. We're going to get a few things built to moving my mic around, trying to make my mic in the right position. It's always moved. It's always moving. But then from here, it pulls out the plates to be used to make more of the fluid, and the shards go down to here to make more of this. I did some test runs where I basically built some of this. We're probably going to make another stone stack because stone stack we'll need the second one of, but we won't be needing another one of these other for a while. Like, this is far more than I need, and I did not realize that. Um, Down here, we are noticing that they are coming in, but they are keeping control of how much is allowed to go in. This controls how much can go out. This controls how much can come in, so that it's never full unless it's full from the void shacks, which are constantly becoming overly barren because of this, and we're not needing all of the flux fluid because it's not all getting used. We've got a lot. We've got a long way to go. I might even make some of these requestable filled barrels up here of flux fluid so that we can request flux fluid throughout the rest of the base as well. But what we are going to be working on today, I did shorten these down. I think you guys were originally here when they were out and they came up and went out. And the reason is I'm actually going to pull out a fourth belt for iron and copper, because I want a little bit more options. And I have found that while we aren't going to need this, it's useful to keep it from being um, reliant on the same belt to keep separate belts running. I'm trying to decide if I want to extend it to 6 belts. I know that these aren't going to keep up though, because we only have 3 belts coming in, which means if we have 6 belts going out, each of these are only going to get a half a blue belt, which isn't exactly terrible. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and extend it to 6, because iron and copper is one of the ones we will use the most. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to get the bus. I want to build the bus. I'm also going to start trying to cut out less, because one issue I'm having with this particular playthrough is I have a lot of Satisfactory. I mean, not Satisfactory. I have a lot of Skyrim going up. Like, today is the 23rd of May, and I have until like the 17th of June for Skyrim, because it's so easy to record Skyrim, because Skyrim has has a lot easier of a time being recorded. But for like Factorio, this one's going to go up next Thursday. So I want to have an easier time with Factorio, so I want to have it take less time to record it. And the only way to do that really is to stop cutting out as much. I'm still going to cut out some. Um, Most of the time it's going to be when we're standing around doing nothing. Hopefully we won't have much of that, because we will have a lot of We have a lot of this stuff building everything I need. So it's not like I ever need to stand around waiting for resources very much. Like, that was the most we would have to stand around and wait for resources most of the time. I also apologize if it being on 8 times speed is a little jarring. I might consider turning it down to 4 times speed, especially since even I have a little bit of a difficulty with it. But I like having it faster because then it helps me get things done quicker. Especially when I'm just running around like this. I'll probably turn it down though when I'm building, when I'm doing precise building and stuff like that. But I do plan on using this as I can to keep it going quickly. And put these down. All right, and then what I want to do is 1, 2, 3, and 4. I will. I said I wasn't going to cut much out. Um, Biggest thing I plan on doing once I get this system built is I plan on doing. I want to get some stuff to set up for like intermediate components like gears, rods, um, wires, some of the basic stuff. Circuits are going to be with the blue circuits, as I plan on making um, rocket fuel, LDS, and blue circuits in order to put those onto, in order to get those ready for when we're launching rockets. Um, those will be those will be below the bus, while the other stuff will be above the bus. You can actually do this to make things a lot easier on us. And then what I can do is I can do this. And then of course this. And then if we turn this to max, all I have to do is run around and it will automatically fill those in. Again, I understand that this isn't going to keep up, but I also don't think I'll use the entirety of the belts. Not to mention, this helps me suck up more of the resources to keep resources flowing. And it's incredible how well this keeps up. Like, I thought I was going to have resource problems forever. This proves to me that now my problem is smelting it down, which I'm going to just extend these as I need to. But next we do steel. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I try to put 4 spaces between my main bus because of the fact that I feel like that keeps us from having to worry about the space between them to transfer resources. We also are going to have other resources that are going to go onto the main bus that aren't just steel, copper, iron. We're also going to have coal on the main bus because coal is something that needs to be for military science, which I plan on making military science. I plan on doing military science as a bust thing. I plan on busing all of the sciences. Before we even look to going to space, we're going to be busing all of the sciences. We also are going to be using the bus to create more landfill. We already have a lot of landfill saved up, but we need even more because the other planets don't use landfill. Some of them use foundation, and foundation is landfill plus steel. So we need to build that up as well. We're still building up on this because of the fact that, as we can see, gears are slow. So what we'll actually do while we're waiting on that is we'll come up to here. And I am going to make a gear building setup. And this is how I plan on building all my setups from here on. Especially that are going to be on the bus like this. To the north will be all of my other stuff. And gears is just iron, so I can build it right here instead of having to worry about building it further down the line, because it doesn't need anything but iron. Now, one of the negatives of the what I am, how I'm doing this, is this is one of the other reasons for 4 spacing. This allows me to have them set up to where they will. This allows me to set it up to where I can put robo ports between them to start getting my robo ports to run all the way up here. Not to mention, I know that I don't have enough robo ports right now because it's not keeping up with the demand of the what do you call it? It's not keeping up with the demand of the charging. The robots aren't charging fast enough, and you're not supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be doing this. And the reason I do this is obviously this isn't going to be enough gears. But what I can simply do, one of these down here, plus one of these down here, plus one of these down here, then go like this. Run this up. Run this up. Run this down. And now we're making tons of gears. And this will make gears extremely fast. Now, there is a problem with this design. Most of you automatically will know what it is, and that is the bots will take forever to fly down to here to put gears into here. We're still going to be very slow with gears because the gears are being made so far away. So, as we see, it's making them fast, but they're not going very quickly to it. It would be better for us to bus everything. The problem with busing everything, though, is that it would take a lot of resources. What I might eventually do is I might eventually create like an area that's making all of the things, but that will most likely be when we get to mega basing. Right now we don't have the technology. Right now I don't have the stuff I want to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and be okay with this because it is making them faster now. But obviously there are other things we need, and what we can easily do to do that is instead of doing it the way we were doing it originally, is if I do this, I wish there was a way I could say I wish there was a way I could come in here and remove the recipes in here. I don't think there is. I don't think there's a way to remove the recipes. What I would have to do that is I basically put this up here like this, and then basically come in here and go none, and then just go ahead and remove them like this, and then cut that. Then I can place this here. Place those. And then what we do is we say make rods. And the reason I'm doing this is now I can go down to the mall and I can say no more of this and no more of this. And I picked up one of the bots by mistake. Oh, because it's right, because they automatically try to remove them from my inventory. But the next one would be wires, which I am going to do wires because wires are needed in some of the stuff. But I think wires might be the last one we do because as far as the simple items go, because it is a simple item that doesn't need anything else in it. We could do pipes, but those will be done somewhere else on the belt, so I'm not super worried about that right now. Here's the foundation recipe. We're going to be needing a ton of that for when we travel to the other planets, which is not close. We are pretty far from that. I will be working on getting everything I need to go to another planet today but I won't be going to another planet for a while. Um, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's gonna go under. Yeah, that's gonna go under the power pole, which is gonna cause problems. So we'll just remove that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's stone, that's coal, and I think that's everything that can be pulled from these. Oh, bricks. I almost forgot about bricks. We need bricks for walls and for furnaces, actually. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I think that's it for the normal sciences. I'm not going to do the Voidcraft science. Voidcraft science will be used for... We will be doing the Voidcraft science by bot network, not by numbers. Mostly just because I don't want to deal with um, figuring out their recipes and how they would go. We're going to put these right next to each other so it's easier to build them. I'll have to fix that when I go back, but that's fine. The one thing I wish I could do, and I know that if I don't have any blue belts in my inventory, it would do it. But I wish I could ghost build even if there's items in my inventory. But I can't figure out if there's a way to do that. There goes bricks, there goes stone, and there goes coal. As we can see, stuff is now flowing as one of our problems was coal. There's always going to be a resource we're not using a ton of. That's why I built these over here. But I'm always going to be it's always going to be the goal to eventually draw up all of them. As we can see, coal is being our problem right now. But that's also why this stuff is set up to where it won't let it in from this system if there's plenty in this system to fill it. Right, now we just need to build these to where we build these down. Build these. Yep. Now, the next thing to do, since now we have all of our solids, is to get our liquids. That's going to be our oil processing, which means we're going to need our oil stuff. I'm going to go ahead and grab, if I say, give me wood, that'll give me that. And then what we'll do is we'll go, I want refineries, I want pump jacks, and we already have pipes coming into us. Okay. I'll remove the wood. I kind of wish you could tell it to add the next line so that I can have more lines, but I understand why it doesn't. Once we hit travel to Fulgora, we'll be using more modules, but I don't want to go too heavily into modules yet. I might change my mind eventually if I decide to get more modules set up. As we see, we don't have very many refineries yet. That's because we won't be needing a lot right now. We'll need more later when we start moving to mega base levels, which I do. I am planning on eventually building a mega base out of this. We'll go ahead and come up here. One thing I've been thinking about doing is if we go into here and we tell it we want concrete, then what I can do is I can get concrete from the system. And then basically what I can start doing is I can start using it to like figure out where my limitations are. So like I don't want to go below here. Oops. What I could always do if I wanted to build with ghosts, I guess, is I could start doing this and then just not let my bots help. this. I can't remove the ghost unless I use the red bullet prints, and I don't want to do that. Or the deconstruction prints, I guess. But the next thing I want to do, since we're down here, is to start working on getting these set up properly. Which, I don't have very many of them, but that's because we don't really need very many of them. We technically don't need this many for our setup, because we don't have enough refineries to be using more than this. But I also won't be needing very many of these because the system goes pretty well, all things considered. We're also going to be doing a lot more with the system, because that's one reason why we have the coreless fluid being able to be barreled and requested. Go ahead and build these, and then if I just go right, be able to be, there we go. I'd say there should be a spot that's close enough that it will be able to set that up. And then we do this, which will then start to, so this will get the raw flux, void flux, which then processes it into our petroleum gas, water, and void flux. So what we'll do next is I will build one of these, and then another one of these, and then we do these. So this will come down to water. I try to use underground pipes a lot, even if it's not needed for the length, just because then it's easier for me to walk around. And then this one will come over to here and be processed into coreless fluid. Go ahead and put a requester chest down here, and then a supply chest, which I actually need to check to see if I fixed one of the issues I discovered, because I don't remember if I discovered it during playing on this save or if it was on my practice save. But let's see. Okay, yeah, we did. Okay. I wanted to make sure that these were being put back into here, because the problem with them being put into these supply chests was they would get lost in the system. So there would always be, so like this system over here would request more of them than that system could, and that system would run out of them, and then this system would stop because of the fact that they would it would use up all the plates. But we do have these plates now, so that's not a big deal anymore. But what we will do is we will have that requesting that, and then of course you can go ahead and put that into the requester chest instead, which will then basically tell it you can have that. But what I am going to do, because I don't want them to remove them, is I'm going to say go ahead and have 0 of these, but maintain like 50, but don't go over like 50. So it won't request them, but when this creates them, it'll be fine to keep them. So that creates coreless fluid, and then the coreless fluid can go into this one and into this one, which then I just tell this, using coreless fluid, create oil. Create oil. Then we're going to put this here. Now the other one we want to do is actually going to go right here. I almost forgot to do this, and that would have been a problem, because it would have caused issues down the line. We're going to do this one, and we're going to sell it to make, out of coreless fluid, to make water. This is so that the water system will never be out either. Oh wait, crap. That's not going to work. There's a problem with that, and some of you might notice it already, but we'll move them. Putting them back here will do just fine. So you will make oil, and then you will make water. Need to remember, if I shift click, if I shift R, it'll instead of spinning it around, it'll spin it the opposite direction. You go that way. Let's get a substation down so that you can have power. Oh yeah, it's got too much of that. That's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a top-up valve, which I obviously need to tell it to keep top-up valves in my inventory, which basically will keep it from filling this to full, so this will always have a way of getting rid of its water. So basically what the system does, to explain it in full, it takes the fluid and it divides it into petroleum gas, water, and flux fluid. Flux fluid will then get turned into oil, water, and oil to process it into our basic oil products. And what I will do now is, if I build this system and we say heavy oil out 3, oh wait, no, heavy oil out 5, this out 3, this out 1, 5, 3, and 1. And then what we do is we run this one to here, and then this one here, and then this can go up, and then it connects into this. And the reason we want this to do this is so that it's pulling it into this, but we're going to be making it to where petroleum gas is being used to create solid fuel, unless there is less than a certain amount in the system. We'll be doing that once we get settled into our petroleum gas setup and all that other setups. That'll most likely be down here. But next, I need a couple more tanks, which I don't have tanks in my system, so it's going to get rid of them. Do that. I also want to tell it, just so that we know we're getting them, give me the other valves, so that I know I have plenty of them. And then I also want pumps, if there are any in the system. I don't think there are. I don't think pumps are being maintained, just in case they are. I'm also going to put a roboport here so that the robots have somewhere else to charge, and so that my logistics network is a little bit more covered. We're going to be trying to cover up our logistics network a little bit better, since we are having such an issue with it. But we're getting close to the end of this episode. Like I said, I'm going to be cutting out less, because, like I said, I don't have the time to record as much as I want to, and I need to be able to, I want to get certain amounts of footage out for different things. So hopefully you guys are okay with that. This one will be, I'm trying to decide how I'm going to do my breakdowns now. My fluid cracking setup, which will go with, this should work. What I'll do is, there, you go there, and then you come up to here, and you go there, you go there. And then what I'll do is I will have, we'll do this, so that heavy oil can fill that. And then this one will be for light oil. Then as Charles Petroleum goes, petroleum will have to be up here. And I will go ahead and do this. That it can start flowing petroleum. And this one has too much light oil. And that's because I haven't set up the connections between them yet. Oh, that's heavy oil. Oops. That's close. Bring up. Now they'll be separating them. They're not going to be cracking them yet because I don't want them cracking them yet because I want them to have some time to work on that. And then what we're going to do for water is I'm literally just going to pull in Coriolis fluid from the system, from the logistics system, and have it be used to make water here. That will be easier than finding another source of water somewhere around here. So with this, the way we'll do it is I will say empty Coriolis fluid. Make it face north. What I will do with this is I will say you connect to you, and you connect to you, and then what I will do is do combinators, which again it's going to try and take them away from me. I'm going to tell them I want combinators. This, and then red wires connecting these. Red wire connects to you and to you. You need this, this, and this. If light oil is greater than 20,000. Oh wait, that's heavy oil. And light oil is less than 20,000. And you will output one mark. So it's not true right now, so it's not putting a check mark. And then this goes into here. And then you require check mark greater than 0. Oops. Forgot that would switch over the recipe. Right now they're disabled by their conditions. You can go to there, and then I'm going to copy you to there, but you will be light oil, and you will be petroleum gas. And then we go with this, this. This can easily be just connected to that. And then this connected to that. Now that's the cracking system setup. It won't start cracking fluid for a while because obviously we don't have very much of any of these built up. And I will be using more light oil than anything else, some petroleum gas to make our plastics and sulfur. Light oil will be used to make our, what do you call it, our lubricant. No, light oil will be used to make our rocket fuel. And then heavy oil will be used to make our lubricant. There will be other things that will be used as well, but that takes care of our oil products. We now have all of the non-refined and refined stuff that we need to start crafting in the next episode. But that will be in the next episode. I have gone over with this, and I have other things I need to take care of today. So I hope you all have enjoyed. Hopefully we are moving towards more of a better system. we are definitely doing a lot better for as far as raw resources. Again, our copper is the one that's been backed up, but we'll be using up a lot of copper once we get the LDS set up and once we start making all the circuits. Um, I do need to do some more research because I did find out like blue circuits you can't make that many with a slow amount of green circuit in production, and a couple of other things. We will be going to Fulgora sooner than I would like. I hope to get all the sciences running, but I plan to go to Fulgora to get the technology for it, and I plan on also going to Vulcanus eventually to get its technology. Um, Obviously, the other planet's technologies will help us out quite a lot, but until then, see y'all in the next episode. Bye.